Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera to Dr. Habibah Tolos and our fellow classmates. My name is AIMEE HIDAYAH SUHAIRI and this is my teammate Nah Jensen. We are going to talk about the effect of inflation to retirement planning. Right. So first the introduction, I'm going to explain the terms. So what is retirement? Retirement is the period in which an individual stops working permanently, usually voluntarily, sometimes involuntarily due to diseases or injuries. And when it comes to retirement, it's actually a pressing issue, especially in Malaysia, because there's a lot of statistics and a lot of news highlighting the issue that a lot of Malaysians do not have enough to retire. So when it's their time to retire, they do not have enough, or they would have enough just for a few years. So it's a pressing issue. Next slide, please. So what are the factors affecting retirement inadequacies? So in Malaysia, there are 4 reasons. There are more, but 4 reasons I would like to highlight is longer lifespan and not enough savings, household debt, and also inflation. Next one. So what is inflation? Inflation occurs when there is a broad increase in the prices of goods and services. So for example, 1 ringgit today could buy less than what 1 ringgit could buy last year. The calculation of inflation is usually based on Consumer Price Index, CPI, in which there's a set of items, essential items that are calculated in aggregate, and the total for each year, how much these items and services cost, is compared every year. So example, as you can see here, there is a calculation on bread, coffee, haircuts, jackets, basket, and price index. So this one is from European Central Bank. So it's specific to each region or nation. So for Malaysia, we probably won't have winter jacket, but there will be a set of things essential for that particular nation. Next slide. So for Malaysia inflation rate from 1960 to 2021, as shown in the graph, is usually less than 5% every year. So it's quite stable throughout the years. And there are rare deflations in 2020 and pre-1970, and also spikes, really high spikes in 1974, and the latest one in 2021. Next slide. So why is it affecting retirement? So it affects retirement because money saved today could buy less in the future. So what you can afford today is probably something you cannot afford anymore when you have retired. And this is due also to rising costs of life expenses, especially healthcare, because when people are old, they are retired, they need more medicine, they need more care in terms of supplements or medical procedures, medical checkups. They need more compared to when they were younger or when they are working. And again, back to what we said about people have longer lifespan now. So people simply live longer. They are getting older and healthier. So this could potentially outspend savings. So back in 1960, Malaysians used to live 60 years old. So in 2020, it's up 16 years. So now people are living all the way to 76. So that means they need more money to cover all those years they are living extra. And also the fact that things have gotten pricier. So even more money um, have to be needed for retire. So next would be the effect of inflation to retirement planning. I'll pass to my teammate, Nah Jensen.
Yeah, so I'm Nah Jensen. Then I would like to continue on the effect of inflation to the retirement planning. How does the inflation affect retirement planning. If you have got a retirement put into saving or EPF, it brings an increase on the interest rate. But in the line with inflation, you might not be able to continue buying the same things and afford the same lifestyle across the retirement time. This is because of the effect of inflation and things getting more and more expensive as the time progress. So, will inflation affect the retirement saving? Inflation can affect your retirement saving depend on what you do with that money. Leaving your money in a bank account with low interest rate is a risk as your money will not outgrow the rate of inflation. However, investing your retirement saving in equities may help protect against the rising cost of inflation. Of course, any investment comes with risk, and it is important to be comfortable with your level of investment. Next, I will going to have a example with comparison. For example, at the age of 55, your account balance have 240,000 for you to have a retire. From the calculation, we taken a 4% interest rate annually and taken that the daily spend of 50 ringgit a day, we should use a monthly of 1,500. With annual calculated, that will get a 18,000 from every year. So with the deductible, adding back the interest from the account balance of 240,000, every year calculated out, we should have a account balance to get survive until age 74. And then when we reach the age of 75, there is no enough account balance for us for on the retirement age. But from the inflation effect, we can see that we use a 4-year and increase of 300 ringgit monthly. That means a daily increase of 10 ringgit. There will bring an annually usage of 21,600. From the increases, we can see that at the age of 69, they will make the account balance not able to survive at age 70. So from this difference, we can see that the amount of 240,000 before the inflation, we can survive until age 75, but now we only able to survive at the age 70. So how much is the needed in the retirement? This will focus on how the lifestyle you taken from your side. A better way to show it is you ask yourself, what sort of lifestyle do you want in your retirement? This is because the lifestyle will tell you how much you need to spend. Of course, from the example side, we can have different view on if a person they live with have a partner like a pair, there will be a 3,000 ringgit from a house, like 1,500 plus 1,500. Or the variables different from the rural and urban area also will change the cost living from the retirement age. Next, how much money could lose in the retirement due to inflation? From this example, 240,000, we calculate from the 4% interest rate, suppose a saving growth will bring a 249,600 ringgit. But under the inflation, for example, of 2%, the real return will be only 2% and get an actual spending power of 244,800 ringgit. From here, we can clear to see that there's a difference of 4,800. So as long as your retirement income and saving growth at least in the line with inflation, then you will not lose any of the spending power from your money. So how to keep up with inflation? So I with AIMEE think that the way to do is invest in the assets that can bring an increase in the value during periods of inflation, such as the real estate and commodities. Another option is to use an inflation adjust annuity, which will provide an income stream that increase yearly YOY along with price. And finally, we can do is plan to spend less at the age of retire. So this may help to offset with the effect of inflation. The ways to protect and prevent is we can avoid losing and protect against retirement saving to inflation is by investing. This is because if you hold a lot of money in cash, then generally interest rate on cash will be below the rate of inflation. The second one is we can take the advantage of any employee pension scheme. So when you're working, it's normally a good idea to take an advantage of employee pension scheme for the benefit they provide. Besides that, we think that the easiest way is to keep our money in EPF and have a withdrawal yearly. So that is matched with the previous example concept. The EPF is given out the EPF calculation with annually payment on interest rate, but the interest is count every month, but the deposit is count at the end of financial year. So when we at the retirement age, we can keep our saving in EPF. Like this year, we can search that getting a 8%. Then with taking this stable return on it, what we can do is no need doing the investment or like other thing like buying from the house or any investment you are not sure. So keep in EPF, then always taking out money yearly with the calculation shown before. Then we can be aware on it and not panic to inflation. So I will pass back to AIMEE for the conclusion part.
Okay, thank you, Jensen. So the conclusion from our topic today is that inflation is one of the many factors affecting retirement fund, and it's often overlooked because of its small percentage. So every year we hear 2%, 1%. So people get some sort of false sense of security, but it's actually very consequential because it has compounding effect. Every year it increases and increases, so that 1% is not 1% 3 years after that. It's actually more than that. But however, it is unavoidable. You cannot stop inflation, but what you can do is you can manage that. For example, like Jensen said, you can invest, you can pick investment or trust fund that have inflation annuity elements, so it counters against that. Right? So that's the end for our presentation. That's all from us. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.